Ann from The Ann Show. Out on Friday mornings at 8 a.m. here on 1015 KFGM, Frenchtown, Missoula Community Radio.
Hey everybody, welcome to MCAT Radio. This is Scott with 101.5 and...
And I'm Neil, also with 101.5 KFGM.
Yes, KFGM, Missoula's Community Radio. We're here live from the studio here at the Missoula Public Library to talk about all sorts of things that are happening in Missoula and beyond. You got something going on? You want to talk about any kind of headline news? You were talking about Atlanta and their data center sucking up all the water.
Yeah, well, I just read an article about a data center just outside of Atlanta that acquired 30 million gallons of water without paying.
And how did everyone find out about this?
Through their water pressure.
So no water pressure. There's that, hey, what's going on? It's like, oh, it's the data center it's doing. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, we just found it out because you complained about the water pressure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's insane just
they
the amount.
had two separate utility taps.
Yep.
One unregistered and one registered, well, registered but not to the company.
But how does this have anything to do with Missoula? Let me tell you. Bonner is going to be having their community council meeting tonight where they're going to be discussing their plans about dealing with the Bonner AI data center. And so if you're interested, they're doing it tonight at 7 p.m., a live meeting. But the decision is going to be made on June 3rd inside the Sophie Marie room in the Missoula County Courthouse at 6 p.m. on June 3rd. So that's where they're going to be taking some public comment from the community all around county for the impacts of this data center that's going to be built and actually not even built. It's an old warehouse in Bonner that they're trying to update and move into. So just so you guys know, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
They'll take public comment on Wednesday, June 3rd at 6 p.m. in the Sophie Marie room, which is inside the Missoula County Courthouse. So there you go.
Well, what's going on around town?
Well, the city of Missoula and MRA are working together with the Midtown Commons as it nears its finishing. And this is the section of land that the city technically acquired through purchasing through the Montana Rail Link, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
There's a lot of little properties just adjacent to the railroad who were kept kind of like untouched for such a long time.
Yeah, right there by the mall.
Yeah, it was kind of like just surplus land and just kind of like, some trees, some grasslands, undeveloped essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically used for just like mechanical storage, and they just threw it on there and whatnot. And so the city wanted to redevelop that site, and they're working with Miramonte, developer, I think out of Arizona, I believe. You might want to double check that, but they're talking a little bit about that. And the city of Missoula, MRA, and Missoula Parks and Rec have prepared the necessary documentations to finalize the sale of land for the Midtown Commons project through Miramonte Companies, LLC. The Midtown Commons project, this is actually posted on the City of Missoula's website, and they're talking about all the meetings they're going to be hosting for this, and their meeting schedule kicks off for this week on Tuesday, May 12th at 11:30 a.m. in the Headwaters Conference Room. This is at 600 Craig Lane. This is that building at the McCormick Park where Currents is. And so they're doing their Missoula Parks and Rec Board on tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. to talk about this. Then they'll talk about it through Land Use and Planning Committee, which is on Wednesday during their regular Land Use and Planning Committee. And then they'll have the official City Council meeting on May 18th, which is a week from today. So they're going to do the finalization and get this thing passed and approved to move forward with the Midtown Commons. So
All right.
I've heard a lot of people talking about, how the city should use this land to build more affordable housing. And so the city is using the land to build more green space and then sell the land so they can acquire the money so they can invest in affordable housing down the line instead of that property. So that's the justification in that particular case from what I've heard. Yep.
An investment.
Yep, it's an investment for other properties as opposed to this property, which is invested in the idea of having more green space and having a park in the Bitterroot Trail. So anybody riding their bikes or going that particular area near the mall, which is definitely kind of lacking parks, except for the Montana Rail Link Park, which is one of the newer parks in Missoula.
Yes. I wonder if that flock camera is going to be an issue.
Oh, the flock cameras, yes.
So there's the one that
so here's
points
some.
that
So let's give some context. What is a flock camera?
Flock cameras are a security camera that
Powered by
AI.
Oh!
That's thunder.
Yeah.
Yes, but powered by AI, they've featured controversy in regards to just general privacy because they keep track of things like license plate numbers basically it's they track you.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that Chinese surveillance system that they have in place.
Yes. You know, a lot of these they go to offshore servers. There's questions to how secure the data even is.
Yes. Because it's all AI. There's no human
Yeah,
component as opposed to the people who engineer and keep the system running.
Yes. So there's some controversy around that. It's, you know, just we ramp up into being more and more of a surveillance state, you know.
And how does that have to do with like Montana's constitution about privacy laws?
Oh, well, you know, you're not allowed to actually be recorded secretly.
Yes.
In Montana. And, you know, like, I think though personally, this is my own opinion, is that I think the camera polls do not do enough to show you that it's a camera.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And it's the idea that Montana is what's called a two-party consent state, which means when you're being interviewed, the idea that is perceived consent, that you're talking to the person who's interviewing you, means that you're allowed to be on camera.
Yeah, you know, if you've ever had a phone call here in Montana with a company and you hear that this call may be recorded for quality assurance or whatever.
Yes.
Or training purposes or whatever, they have to tell you that.
Yes.
Because, you know, they can't record you secretly. Because, you know, here's the thing. If they tell you you're recording, it's on you to say, actually, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And exit the situation.
Exactly.
But no secret recordings.
Yeah. But
that's also why you'll see on private businesses the smile, you're on camera signs.
And before people start thinking it's like, oh, put on your tinfoil hats, the reality is this, it's like all the cookies, internet cookies that you hear about, the whole idea is that you're basically being farmed for selling more stuff to you.
Yeah.
They're just like, we're just making it easier to tap into your...
Well, that's most data collection, you know? And then there's a security breach, and then you get doxxed.
Exactly. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And, you know, it has a lot to do with, like, you know, government doesn't have much regulation when it comes to those kind of things, which is why lawsuits and all that kind of stuff kind of come up from these things.
Well,
and
you heard about Canvas going down.
No.
Didn't you? Yeah, so the system the college uses, as well as, I guess, 275 million students, K through 12 and also college, use this software Canvas to keep track of, like, assignments and rubrics and all that.
Of course, yeah.
And they just had a massive data breach. The entire site went down for a day.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were ransoming.
Oh, ransomware. That's what they call ransomware.
Well, it was a group that was ransoming all this information. Basically, they were saying, if you don't give us, it was like $250 million or something like that.
Wow.
By May 12th, then we'll just release everyone's information. They got a Canvas back up, so that doesn't seem like it'll be too big of an issue, but it's still a massive data breach.
Yeah, especially when you're like, you know, sometimes when you're applying for jobs and all that kind of stuff, social security numbers, sometimes birth certificate, many forms of identification, and then just assuming your place of business is going to hold your information for you so you can get paid.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the big cornerstone of getting a job is all those forms you got to fill out, W-4s and beyond.
Well, you know, this data breach was, like, significant because a ton of the people whose data was being held hostage were minors.
Yeah.
Yeah. As young as kindergarten.
Yes, because the university does have minor care as well for young kids, you know, daycare and all stuff like that. You're part of the daycare system too.
I was. I remember, I only remember one day being in there, and that's getting taken out of there because my little sister was being born.
Okay, gotcha. And I remember also, I was there when I was a kid growing up too, is now it's like the current like media department. It's kind of like right next to the
building.
Exactly, it's right next to the Grizzly Pool.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone knows as Grizzly Pool.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the offshoot for people who are just like, oh, I don't want to go to YMCA. I'll just go to the Grizzly Pool. It's fine.
It's fun to hang out at the Grizzly Pool.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, we're going to switch gears here, and we're going to throw it over to some 4 history buffs. A little bit of history of Chinese life in Helena. So this is 4 History Buff. This is a program that is put on through the Missoula Public Library and filmed here at MCAT. So you can watch this right now, anytime, on our MCAT YouTube page at MCAT TV Missoula.
Knock against Helena to become the capital. In fact, Great Falls, which is a new city, says, hey, we should be the capital. You know why? So we never let anybody Chinese in. In That was Great Falls' claim to try and be the capital when they vied for it. But critics of Helena being it came up with this advertisement, which is a total fake, from Sing Sang and Biff Bang. Ranchers and market gardeners, bargains in hay, grain, all kinds of produce, cheaper than the cheapest. We defy competition with white trash. We'll positively undersell all American farmers and gardeners, thankful for the large and increasing patronage we've always received from the citizens of Helena. Right, so it's a jab at Helena. And we begin to get a sense that not everybody's happy with the success of Chinese gardeners in Montana. There will be boycotts, absolutely. To patronize a Chinese vegetable gardener is as bad as to patronize a Chinese laundryman when there is a boycott going on. Try and economically drive the Chinese from Montana by withholding non-Chinese dollars to their businesses. And this happened over and over and over again. So did it work? No, if it needed to happen over and over, the Chinese resisted. Right? The threat of a boycott, though, could go a bit further and become actual violence. Right? There is always the threat simmering underneath the surface for the Chinese in the American West that things could get bloody. It didn't get terribly bloody here in Montana like it did in Rock Springs, Wyoming in 1885 with the massacre, or on the border of Idaho and Oregon in 1887 where 37 Chinese were killed, but that threat is always present. Right? So we've got boycotts that happened here in Missoula, definitely happened in Billings, Butte, Anaconda. We've got taxes and laws that were specifically designed to undercut the Chinese gardener's success. So there'd be taxes specifically in Butte. If you're driving a certain type of cart, you'd have to pay this much, and that tended to be the cart that the Chinese truck gardeners used. If you're walking and you have a yoke with 2 baskets, you had to pay this tax. It didn't come out and say this tax is anti-Chinese, but it only applies to the Chinese way of kind of dealing with their vegetables. And then laws. In Helena, there was an attempt by a workers' union to prohibit the Chinese laundries and vegetable gardeners from selling their goods on Sunday. They didn't think it was fair that the Chinese could sell on Sunday when Christian folks didn't feel like they could sell on Sunday. That didn't work, and every one of these was undercut by the absolute reliance on Chinese vegetables, right? In fact, in Missoula here, they got pretty frustrated with some of the people who should have been on strike because the supposed union members, when a union delegate would like follow him home, he realized, oh, he's getting Chinese vegetables delivered to his house. Right? He wouldn't go and eat downtown at a chop suey joint because they're under boycott, but he's still buying Chinese vegetables. So we've got boycotts, we've got taxes and laws, and sadly, there is the threat of violence. If there is any one class of men who have a big, long, hard kick coming against the Chinese, it's the white market gardeners.
All right, so there's a little taste of For History Buffs. This is something that talks a little bit about the history of, the Chinese in Montana, specifically Helena, back in the late 19th century. Mm-hmm. So, 19th century. So like 1888. So a lot of stories, all that kind of stuff. And Missoula is not. They don't have clean hands when it comes to dealing with Chinese migrants and stuff like that. To a point where they disregarded the Chinese cemetery at the base of Mount Jumbo, where the L is, and people are still finding old bones from the cemetery.
Yeah.
So that was something that, Missoula definitely had to reckon with that past, and it's something that gets brought up every decade or so, but it's something that's definitely is something that has never been solved.
You know what I learned recently is that the phrase "no can do" actually, came from people imitating Chinese workers from that era.
Really?
Because it's like, yeah, can you do this? They had broken English. No can do.
Oh.
I cannot do that.
Right. Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just learned that recently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like one of those kind of things that we have to reckon with a lot of this kind of past stuff because, I was reading a book about, the vigilantes of Montana, what's that called? A decent and orderly lynching about Missoula vigilantes. And part of that was funded by a guy who was referred to, his vigilantes referred to as the Stewart Stranglers. And so this guy, he was a rich guy from the South who during the Civil War was just like, it's getting a little hot down here, and he moved to Montana. And he also invested a lot of money in universities, especially the history department, in regards to, vigilante history. So it's interesting how the guy who funded vigilantes also funded history about vigilantes at that era. So
Yeah.
definitely worth checking out. If you look up Stuart Stranglers, you can see a lot of history about this guy who was a big proponent of this kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then was it last year there was some controversy about that painting?
Which painting?
It was in the Sunrise Saloon.
Oh.
Right, and really the only reason it got any controversy was because it was depicting the last hanging.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, in Montana.
Right.
And then, so that was just like a little discussion on Reddit, and then someone stole the painting.
Really?
Yeah, they just walked in and grabbed it off the wall and left with it. They brought it back later.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It kind of reminds me of what they did with the Mona Lisa, because like somebody from Italy
Yep.
who was like just happened to be in Paris, they're just like, wait, that's an Italian person. That person belongs in Italy where the painting was done. Why is it in Paris? And that's the controversy behind the
And that's
stealing
the
of
whole
it.
reason it got famous.
Yep, because everyone's like, someone stole this painting, and it's a pretty interesting history tidbit.
Masterpiece.
And unfortunately, it is history that I learned from Drunk History,
Oh, yeah.
featuring Jack Black as the character who plays the guy who steals the painting, and I don't know the context.
He was like, wow,
No.
whoa.
No, well, Jack Black.
No, he didn't speak. It's Drunk History.
Yeah, Drunk History, because it's all narration of comedians of different kinds.
That said, I want a version of that where it's Jack Black just doing Jack Black things while
No,
he's doing
seriously.
it, like, painting, yeah.
Oh, speaking of Jack Black, I recently rewatched the Tim Burton film Mars Attack.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a good film. It's available free on YouTube with ads, I suppose.
Oh, yes, Mars Attacks.
It's great. I really appreciate what they did with that, because you have a who's who of celebrity cameos. Michael J. Fox, Jack Black, of course. Then we have Natalie Portman, who plays the president's daughter, and Jack Nicholson is the president, and he's also like a Texas casino guy too. So he plays dual roles in Mars Attack.
I've actually never seen Mars Attacks.
Yep. It's
Around
supposed to
that
be
time, there was a cartoon, Butt Ugly Martians.
really.
Yeah. So in my head as a kid, I got the two super conflated.
Oh, no doubt,
I
because
was like, Mars Attacks? That's the same thing as Butt Ugly Martians. Look up Butt Ugly Martians. They are butt ugly.
and then there's spaced cases, which is like aliens from another planet invading Earth. They inexplicably hear the War of the Worlds with Orson Welles, go to the planet, and then have to like reckon with the fact that they're not invading at all. And then they learn to get along with their human kids, just so happens to be dressed up for Halloween.
And then there's that other movie, Galaxy Quest, with Tim Allen.
Dude, yeah.
And,
But Ugly Martians.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, they're very coded to be like wannabe Power Rangers, because they're like perfectly color coded. Horrible 3D CGI. 2001.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a stretch.
So there you go. See, like, I remember them from when they came out. I was 2.
Yeah.
So that's like an early memory. Of course I don't remember it clearly.
Yeah, we'd have to, honestly, we should just copy the storylines from each episode and just do our own with Robots, because it's probably dissimilar to exactly that.
Oh, the Robuds. For listeners at home, we have created a couple shorts now.
Yes.
Of a super-powered robot team who are, of course, color-coded, called the Robuds.
Yes. They're robots, Power Rangers-esque, and they're just going on adventures in their own world of the Bubble Hills.
Bubble Hills.
I don't know, I just made it up. It was for promo for Saturday Drop-Ins, which we do every Saturday for kids age 8 to about 14. It's a great resource for doing stop animation, play with some Legos, use it to make movies. We also got Blender, which we learned how to do the Robuds with.
Yes, Blender, every Monday from 6 to 8 and every Friday from 4 to 6 here at the Missoula Public Library. Learn 3D modeling, animation, texturing, modeling for 3D printing, basically anything, really. Blender is a crazy program, and it's insane that it's free.
Yes, and of course, the first thing you learn with Blender is to make your 3D model.
Yeah.
Because when you want to make 3D animation, you got to make those models first. Sometimes you can always have things pre-made, and that requires a lot of motion and keyframes and all sorts of craziness with moving the characters.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I have a fun video for everyone today.
Whoa.
We did a shoot called In Tune Missoula, and here's a little bit of a synopsis. It's an evening of music, good food, and silent auction to raise money for the expanding music and music education in both middle and high schools, hosted by the Missoula Rotary Club. So this one we filmed a couple weeks ago, and here's a little taste of that. Hey, welcome back. You're listening to 101.5 KFGM.
Yep, MCAT Radio.
MCAT Radio, where we kind of bridge the gap between MCAT Television and 101.5 Community Radio. So we are a community television station in a partnership with radio as well.
Yeah, so, we always like to encourage people to come on down and learn how to make their own TV shows, PSAs, movies, short films, animations, whatever you want, basically.
Yep, and the good rundown to learn everything you need to know about MCAT is through our tour and training we do every Saturday at 10 a.m.
That's right.
There's always plenty of room, and it's a great opportunity. It happens every Saturday, so if you miss a Saturday, you can always try the next one.
Yes.
Yep, we just kind of give you our brief tour, an idea, and then we'll send you out with a camera, go out and film, and make some movies and some fun stuff with that.
What are you craving today, Scott?
What am I craving for food today? I'm going to get a bunch of jalapeno tortillas and make a bunch of quesadillas.
Nice. I want to give a shout out, not sponsored.
Yep.
To the I don't even know the business's name. That's the waffle place.
The waffle stand.
The waffle stand at the farmers market.
Yep.
They're great.
They're great. Every Saturday, lines out the entire market. Like, is this a blob? Nope, it's the line for the waffle place at the Clark Fork River Market.
We want waffles.
I always like to get their Nutella one, too, because they just stuff it with, like, whipped cream, Nutella, and stuff. I haven't had it in a while.
I usually get their, like, breakfast sandwich one.
Yeah.
For the protein.
Yes. Well, yeah, because it's like peanut butter and stuff like that for the protein and whatnot?
No, it's just like a sausage and egg.
Nice.
Bacon and egg.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's your typical, like, breakfast burrito, but with a waffle.
With a waffle, yeah.
Nice. Because I know that I keep
They
on...
do have a peanut butter one.
Every time I hear, like, especially on online Discords, like, there's that weird kind of need for, like, a Waffle House. And I think, heck, if Waffle House wanted to build... And I looked online, and apparently they had a map of all the Waffle Houses. Like,
that they're surrounding us.
No, they're not. They are mostly, like, in the South.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just kind of cut off by the kind of area. In, like, Montana, Washington, Idaho, most of those places don't even have a Waffle House of any kind.
Breakfast places around here keep closing, too. We had a Denny's.
Yep, and
They're gone.
now Liquid Planet, the grill, is closing.
Exactly.
But it's also part of the same ownership of, like, Pangea, Stave and Hoop. There's a lot of the apparatus.
There's been a lot going on there.
There's a lot of, apparently from what I hear, so they had, like 120 employees in the whole atmosphere of the whole thing. And, like, being able to pay the rent, and just try to just deal with the rising costs of everything.
I think we should just buy Stave and Hoop, Scott.
Do you want to buy Stave and Hoop and go in that random
speakeasy.
basement thing?
Let's do a speakeasy.
Nah. I don't like places that have basements. I guess I'm just so triggered from MCAT being in the basement for so long, and now we're on the first floor.
I'm anti-basement, above grounders only.
That's terrible. Creating xenophobia to something that doesn't quite exist.
Isn't that all xenophobia?
It is. It's the thems.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, it's the best example is South Park is the thems killed Kenny. It's like, who's they? It's like the thems. Because they know that was one of the things that in one of the episodes were just like, who's them? And they're just like, the theys.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm against window havers.
Window havers?
If you have windows, get out of here.
Shotgun. You got a window?
We don't like seeing things around these parts. I hate fresh air.
Wait, I thought you hate windows.
Yeah, but you open the window and you get the fresh air.
Okay, so you just need all walls, no natural light?
All walls, no pavilions.
That's pretty great. I like that. All right, so other thing. Oh, let's talk about some artists and venues and stuff that's happening with the economy being the way it is. It looks like
in this economy.
Yeah, exactly. The concept of blue dot cancellations are becoming a norm thing. So imagine a venue and you look online and there's a bunch of blue dots in the vacancy, and so that's what they call it, blue dot cancellation. And as a result, many artists are just being like, hey, I'm not selling enough tickets here. It's not justifiable. And so less and less people are going to these kinds of things.
Wow.
So, things are expensive as all heck, too.
Yeah.
And so part of this, like doing the math, mind you, Taylor Swift was probably the last really big concert to happen in a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Reaching $100 million for putting it all together. So they spent $100 million just to do the entirety of their tour of 149 shows. Of course, making $2.2 billion along the way.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. It's also crazy to think about with, the pricing when it comes to the Zoo Fest. I have nothing against the right to do those kind of festivals, which is great. But when you have a selling ticket of $184 for one day, That
Well,
gets
is $184 for one day?
for one single
I thought
day.
that was the weekend.
$294 for both days, and their highest price, mind you, Platinum is reaching $995 for 2
Whoa.
days. This is beyond VIP
Whoa,
experience.
who do they have this year?
They're having the Lumineers, the
Okay.
Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks. Yeah, that's what's happening. That's what the big headliners, and then of course it's a festival, so they have all these bands that are gonna be playing, and those are like the main ones that are selling.
Wow.
Yeah, and their website looks really clean and nice too.
I love a clean website.
Yeah, they definitely
But you
spend
know
the
what
money
I
on
love-
that.
You know what I love more than a clean website?
What?
A website that looked like it came out of 2006.
Yes, 100%. I remember the old MCAT website. That was hilarious.
Yeah. I've been looking recently into the indie web revival movement. Have I told
Oh
you
yeah,
about that?
you've told me about that. There's a website where it's like random website.
Yeah, or it'll just take you through random websites.
What
But,
is
you
that
know,
website called again?
Oh, Quibi, I think?
Yes, Quibi. So for those of you listening, Quibi is a great way for you to find websites that you never think to
Yeah,
find.
it's basically Google's I'm Feeling Lucky,
Exactly.
but better.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause
Google is way too tailor-made for
exactly,
specific things.
Exactly. This and then there's a lot of people just kind of building out their own websites, like you used to do before microblogging things like Facebook came along.
Yep.
You know, people used to make their own website blogs, and then link to other people's that they liked.
Wow.
And you know, it was messy, it was unprofessional, but it was real.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like the way I say it now is that, like, you ever feel like you're scrolling through social media and it feels like you're walking through a Walmart?
Yes.
All the time.
All the time. Because you see something that's really funny and cool, and at the same time, then you see something shocking and disturbing.
and everything's so sanitized. Like, you know, you walk into Walmart and you smell the floor cleaner.
Yeah.
You know, and the lights are all fluorescent, and it's like, wow, this is very artificial.
Yeah, I feel bad for the people who have to work there.
Yeah. It did give me a headache.
Yeah, I mean, at least Costco has the natural light coming through for sure.
Oh,
But
that's true. They do.
that place can get it. Like any of those kind of warehouse type places are expensive to just have them all the lights on and
Exactly.
operating.
Exactly. So, you know, like, so modern social media and the internet feels to me like you're walking through one of those stores, but also there's mall kiosks everywhere trying to sell you stuff.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's
Stuff you don't
yeah.
want.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly the social media real experience for sure.
Exactly,
Let's like
exactly.
we're like even like I
And
know.
everyone wants to be a life coach.
Yeah. Oh, everyone. Everyone wants to be white. Everyone wants to be one. Everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the way it is. I can't argue with that.
Buy my
It's-
course, Scott.
Yeah.
It's only $80 a module.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get enough people, you justify your payment.
Anyway.
Anyways.
So the indie web revival movement is people making their own websites and linking to other websites that they like. And
This is what happens when you fire your software engineers from building your AI data centers.
yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's I've even been thinking about making my own website. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
And just a little personal site where I can put things up on.
Yeah, because they have those like third-party groups, like and then learning JavaScript, be able to what is that called? Web browser, HTML.
Yeah. And then I'll put like a terms of service. It's like, you can't steal my stuff.
Yeah.
It's mine.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It is interesting, and it's great that we're able to have that kind of things, because I just heard that the search engine Ask Jeeves no longer is operation anymore.
Not ask.com.
Yeah. They did Ask Jeeves for such a long time, and then they decided to just go to ask.com.
Yeah, I remember when ask.com was in the Polar Express.
Really?
Yeah. Was it the Polar Express? It was something like that.
Yeah, a lot of times in movies they just don't even bother. They just say this is like a Moogle, where they just do like an offshoot of it.
It was in an animated movie. What was it? Ask.com in animated movies. No, I don't want the 16 most anticipated. No, I'm not asking for ask.com. I'm asking.
Quite a journey. Anyways,
Whatever.
last Friday, David Attenborough turned 100 years old.
That's right.
He's the
And
voice
Lego
behind all those
updated-
documentaries.
Yeah, Lego updated their policy for him.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's Lego always says $4 to $99. They've updated it to $4 to $100 plus.
Nice. But he was a big proponent of conservation, obviously, and he brought awareness and excitement to all living things on the planet as animals reflect
He's an
how
icon.
humans are. So despite our evolution away from the natural world, we still have a place in the ecosystem that allow humans to live on this one planet that
How
sustains
many
life.
documentaries has he done?
I don't know.
Let's look it up.
Yeah, you can look it up. I'll
Okay,
talk a little bit more about it. The whole thing was like even like the countries and parliaments, dedications, Medal of Freedoms, all the christening of David Attenborough with this major milestone. And just seeing him, just how sharp he was, and just being interviewed a couple of years ago, just like he's on it. He knows exactly what he's doing, and I don't know. I mean,
He's credited in over 100 documentaries and series.
Okay.
That's all. That's what it says on the quick thing here.
Well, because he was such a big presence in that era, and I think he kind of, in my personal opinion, he kind of took the mantle away in terms of like documentaries beyond what was his name, Carl Sagan in science. But I think that the drive for more natural animals and stuff became kind of like the replacement for like those science journal stuff.
A lot of wildlife documentaries.
And then I know Neil deGrasse Tyson really tried to bring that back.
Yeah, I watched Nova Science Now all the time as a kid.
Yeah, and then Seth MacFarlane did a show with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, he did?
It was like an animated thing where they would do a throwback. It was taken seriously, and it would run almost the same animation hour as Family Guy, which is hilarious.
Wow.
But it was talking about how Neil deGrasse Tyson was kind of giving history lessons on science and discoveries and all sorts of things like that. And then the animation style was it wasn't Family Guy looking, but they used the same people to help build their own kind of thing. Right. So they made them look more realistic humans rather than, Peter Griffin, doing his thing.
Hey, Lois, you remember that time I hung out with Neil deGrasse Tyson?
But yeah, and that's essentially what they did. They there was little comedic elements on there to keep the entertainment value going, but I really liked what they were doing with that, and it was a high production value for sure. And I think it only lasted maybe like a season or if a half a season, but it was definitely something that had an impact on me. And yeah, I mean, documentaries are always great, and we had the International Wildlife Film Festival a couple of weeks ago.
We did.
Yep, the Wild Walk, if you've seen all the kids all dressed up as their animals,
walk.
and then walking down Higgins and just kind of kicking it off.
Yeah, I remember when I did the Wild Walk, I was like, Falcon is in my name, so I'm going to be a falcon.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it is.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was.
Yeah.
Actually, I had that paper mache mask for years. Where is it?
It's funny, when we did our interview last week, you forgot to mention that to Kate Davis that your middle name was Falcon.
I told her that a million times.
I'm assuming you did, but I never heard it myself. I have to see it myself of you bringing that up.
Yeah. No, but yeah.
Yeah. And so here's some news that are coming out of Montana. I want to talk to you about it too, because somebody built a house in Glacier National Park.
Yes, controversy.
It was some controversy because a lot of people were just like, why are you building a house in a public park? And as it turned out, there was some kind of privately owned sections of it that predates like the national park dedication. I think it was like in 1911. So this is like one of those like ideas that everything was grandfathered in. Mm-hmm. And so they built a 3-story structure off of a creek, off of McDonald Creek, and it faced legal action, and it went up all the way to the Ninth Circuit of Appeals that justified them to allow them essentially to build it because of this loophole in the law. And so there's now continued to be allowed to be building out there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about.
Now, are they allowed to like construct a road out of that area?
That's the thing. It's like because the issue. Well, it's like the same thing when you have like a property off the highway. You go into the kind of like the boonies a little bit, and you have all those kind of homes that are built out there. And sometimes they don't fall under certain jurisdictions. Like they're too far away from the county, so they don't have too many of those kind of rules. County zoning is a lot looser, but they still have some restrictions.
That said, we do have the roadless rules.
Yes.
Right? So,
which is constantly being challenged.
Yes.
Yep.
But so going through the part that is public, they might not be able to even build their own right-of-way to get to their house.
Yeah. Well, no, you can build roads. But the concept is that you're not supposed to build like major roads for large amounts of things. So they're not going to, I think there's God, it's like I'm assuming they can pave it, but they're going to have to pay out of their own pocket. They're not going to get like an engineering thing and having like, it be an official road as opposed to like your entryway to your home.
Right.
So there's some looser restrictions on, and Montana has a very much like private property kind of like laws to protect a lot of people in that regard. Because we do have a special place for federal protected public lands, but it seems like the Montana leadership are definitely like trying to speed run our losing a lot of our public lands and being in favor of a lot of these initiatives moving forward.
Right.
Yeah. So, the roadless rule is yet another one of those things that I think one of our, I don't know if it's the Secretary of State of our state is like pushing it forward, but who knows? Yeah, there's just been a lot of push for like disregarding the roadless rule, and like every community, every people have been like 99.9999%. I haven't heard one person say that they support removing the roadless rule.
Yeah. Neither have I. I recorded one of the events.
Yeah. MCAT recorded a bunch of them, and it was pretty much unanimous that nobody supports this. Yeah. Well, it's kind of crazy because then, like, I was also wanted to bring up the fact that the AI Data Center that was supported in Salt Lake County, so like Salt Lake City and their county and everything like that, that was a big part of, a lot of controversy because they didn't actually let people give public comment. The commissioner just showed up, talked at the people who were, protesting, booing, jeering, all that kind of stuff, and they did it anyways. So it's like one of those kind of data centers that are, I think they said it was like a 54 acre data center in near Salt Lake. And they said it's going to be the size of Manhattan, just the building that the AI data center is going to be in.
Whoa. Yeah,
so it is crazy story that's coming out. And like you were mentioning about the Atlanta story about the water usage, people didn't know until they discovered water pressure problems. And so, yeah, it's crazy. This is like the problem is, and this is where I'm coming from, is like, who is regulating this?
Right.
Who is making sure everyone's dotting all their I's, crossing all the T's, and making sure everything needs to be done to prevent any kind of ecological disaster of intense amount of water usage to cool the AI data centers, not to mention the noise that I believe the county actually created a law to ban those kind of noise-making machines, which is why we closed down the Bitcoin mining operation in Bonner.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting because the June 3rd meeting is going to be like the county's own zoning board to decide whether or not they're going to approve this final thing. And at the same time, this approval, from what I heard, because I covered the Bonner Community Council meeting and they had people in the county come down and talk to the folks who everyone is like completely against it in Bonner, no doubt, because you hear nothing but horror stories from data centers and communities that have already have already established AI data centers with the loud noise, energy consumption, their power bills. It's unregulated. It's like the power companies are just like, oh, we're going to put the extra money that we put into this on the people when it should be on the businesses, because that is one of the issues of Montana's tax laws, because a lot of industry started moving out, and so we had to depend more on property taxes for our taxes to continue the way that they are, because everything just gets more expensive as time goes on. It's just the inevitability. And last week, speaking of taxes, Missoula, MCPS, got their levy approved. So we, being a bigger community, approved that, while other smaller communities, Lolo, Bonner, some of those didn't get a lot of those levies passed. But I did hear that Bonner did get some kind of levy passed for their school, which it's definitely hard to do in the smaller communities because, everyone's on a fixed income of some kind.
Yeah.
Especially now. Like, even the people who are on the kind of the fringes of middle class are now reckoning with the fact that they're going to have to really squeeze their pinch their pennies, which they no longer manufacture anymore.
yes, no more pennies. We're a penniless society.
Really are, yeah. It's crazy. Like, I've been seeing signs at some stores are just like, due to the penny shortage, you might have to like round down so you don't get the if it's like 8 cents, you don't get the 3 pennies or something like that.
Of course, yeah. Like if it's it's what I've always been saying. It's $4.99 means $5.
Yep.
They only drop it that penny because it doesn't make a difference to them, but it does to psychology.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, $4.99.
Yeah. It's like, it's the idea is like, gas prices are going up less this time than last week. It's like, wait, what? what is this word crap that you're talking about?
Yeah, the rate of price increase has gone down.
Yes. You know, it's the same thing when they put $7 Dorito bags and they're just like, why is nobody buying Doritos? It's like, let me tell you something.
So you see, there's supply and demand, but there's also elastic goods and inelastic goods. People can't survive without insulin, but they can survive without Doritos.
Yes, exactly. Oh, man, that's crazy.
You know?
But I also wanted to give an homage to our new show we're promoting here on MCAT.
Yes.
We did MQuest, which is an amalgamation, kind of like online gaming, where like tabletop games where we record a bunch of people playing these games. And this particular one is called Dread. So the game that we're playing is Dread. So do you want to tell people what Dread's about?
Yes. So Dread is a role-playing game featuring essentially Jenga.
Yes.
Yeah, you pull a brick to do an action. If the tower falls, you die.
Yep, so in layman's terms, if you ever wanted to disregard the complications of D&D and wanted something very simple mechanics.
It's D&D without math.
It's D&D without math. It's basically just like you play a role-playing game together, and then you pull a Jenga piece for initiative.
Yeah. Sometimes multiple Jenga pieces
Yes.
if it's a really hard thing you're trying to do.
Exactly. And the person who narrates, in this case, is Library's own Elizabeth Jonkel, who is the narrator of this particular one, where we had a bunch of guests from the Missoula Public Library who work here, who are part of this show that we've been doing. So without further ado, here's a little clip for you guys. For those of you who want to watch it, we have our show that airs at 11:30 p.m. tonight on MCAT, and we also have a replay at 5:30 on Tuesdays. So here's this.
Would the four of you like to go down to the Union Club and get a beer and talk about the day?
Yeah. I know I'm interested.
Full moon tonight.
Well,
I had planned to go play some video games by myself with a pizza, but I suppose I could
started working at the,
stop by for half an hour or so.
Okay, then you're definitely going to see
well,
me for
as
donuts.
you're getting ready to go and you're locking up the building,
Oh, you think so?
Probably.
Well, the bakery is. I
you
don't think
see
it's never
John
that
talking
big or
to
whatever.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, but they've got it.
And he comes over and he says that Elizabeth's asked him to stay
Also, whatever.
and help
I
her
mean, he's the
move
one
something.
That,
So he asked that you just go down to the Union Club and he'll meet you there as soon as he's done. So,
All right.
as you leave the library and start walking down Main Street towards the Union Club, the first thing that strikes you is you can hear so many sirens in the distance, right? Like you can hear fire trucks and like sirens from police cars, etc.
Yeah, something's going on.
You
Sounds
can
exciting.
kind of feel like you can hear people yelling, like in the distance, like loud voices coming.
From what direction?
Hard to tell, like
Yeah,
just maybe
okay.
a few blocks away. You can hear
Okay.
some yelling, maybe coming from the park.
Huh.
You smell this kind of strong ozone smell in the air. And when you look up, the sky has this strange purplish cast to it that kind of illuminates all the high clouds up around Mount Central. And then you feel this blast of wind come from Hellgate Canyon, which is strangely warm for November. When you go to the Union Club, Cal, the bartender, is there. And she is really glad to see you guys. She loves library staff. And the first thing she says is that it's been such a weird day. I mean, people have been on edge. There was this big fight that broke out in the bar, and she kind of points over where there's like a broken cue stick from the pool table.
Oh.
But she gets you your beers, and you sit and wait for John.
So,
You want me to take care of the pool stick for you? It's a bit of a hazard there's lying around.
Oh, I think we'll be good. I've got, well, yeah. You could throw it. We'll just throw it in the garbage, I think. They're broken now.
Happy to oblige.
Could I get a straw?
You sure can.
Thank you.
Also, new guy, did you ever ask what happened to the last safety lead?
no, I just figured there was some turnover. Is there something I should know?
I'm sure it's fine.
Oh. Huh. Yeah, I did notice though, everybody was acting a little more today, like turned up a little more.
It's a library. They need to be turning down.
Yeah. But maybe that was just the stress of the day of being asked to work the floor, which that's not really, I can work the sports section. There's a sports section.
We are back.
Yep, that was a little taste of MQuest.
Yes.
That was the third game we've recorded.
Yes.
First to air because I'm doing animation for the other parts, and animation's hard.
Yeah, it is. Like, I've seen some of your models and stuff that you've been doing, and so there's
I
a lot of
need
work
to-
that needs to be done. Still, like a high production, post-production value. The one that we did with Dread is very much in the can, ready to go.
Yeah.
Easy camera switching. And, you can learn to do your own camera switching every Saturday at 4 p.m. You can sign up online at MCAT.org, along with
right.
all our other classes from editing, podcasting, and Blender.
Blender, yes.
Gotta love the Blender, yo.
I love it. I love Blender. Like one thing I'm doing with Blender right now is because I'm making a horror movie next month, I went, oh, well, I need a costume piece. But I also need a VFX model. So I modeled out my monster, and now I'm going to turn that into a mask.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great.
So, there's the thing is, it's a skill set that you can do a lot with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're hoping for an October premiere for the movie, too.
Yeah. I'm trying not to think too much about post-production.
Oh, yeah, because you got to be focusing on the present.
Yes, exactly. And if I focus too much on the whole thing, then it feels like
Overwhelming.
Overwhelming.
Of course.
And then I go, and I drop the ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly about just breaking up the plate and just putting the pieces together.
Yep. So
That's a terrible metaphor, but regardless.
Well, I'm just focused on getting everything I need ready for the shoot. And that's all.
Exactly. I'm in it, too.
And then I'll edit it.
I'm in it. A bunch of people that you know are in it.
Yes.
It's going to be a great amalgamation of a bunch of people that we know from the past, present, and just coming together to make this cool little horror film.
Yeah, shout out to my buddy Tristan, who will be scoring the whole movie.
Yep, he's a current member at the University of Montana's music program, so he's going to be a good way for him to promote his music and stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's a great musician. He still has my accordion. I have to get it back from him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's I inherited it from my grandma.
Yeah.
I don't know how to play accordion. Because it's like one of those things that you don't really have lessons for. But I do have a booklet on how to. Yeah. Which I also have in the case. So I hope he kind of learned it.
You kind of got to figure out which buttons do which chords, basically.
Yeah, and there's like over 100 buttons on the one side, and then just a normal piano on the other.
I always talk about it. My sister has one. She's got an omnichord.
Ooh. Yeah,
which is like a synthesizer from the 80s, and it's just like a portable one. You can carry it around. They're really cool.
Yeah, are they the ones that are like octagons?
Yeah. Because
that's the one.
Models are kind of like almost guitar shaped.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking about the ones that the sailors use, but they're not called accordions. They're called something else.
Oh no, you're thinking of concertinas.
Concertina. That's the one.
Yeah. Tristan's got a concertina actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I do love, like, in terms of instruments as a whole, castanets are definitely one of my favorites. The ones where you have the tango dancing and they're clicking with their hands?
Yes.
Castanets are so fun.
Yeah, they are fun.
Yeah.
They are fun. Of course, we play the big metal slide whistle.
Yep, called the trombone.
Yeah.
Yep. You mentioned the other day that you're the dentist, you're going to a dental hygienist a couple years ago, and they're just like, do you play trombone?
Yeah, they're like, do you play brass?
Yeah.
Because my lips are so strong.
Yeah, we got some.
And my tongue too. I could push a hand out of my mouth with just my tongue.
You gotta understand, your tongue is a pure muscle, and we're constantly using it as we are talking.
Exactly.
With my mouth words right now. Try talking without a tongue. No.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
I am talking with minimal use of my tongue.
My going back to drunk history. One of my favorite ones where they were talking about the trials that they did with giving LSD to the dolphins.
Yeah.
And just like
tragic story.
Yeah, exactly. And like Carl Sagan was just like what
are you doing?
What are you doing? Why are you trying to teach dolphins to speak human when you should try to learn their language so we can translate for them? And it was kind of very backwards. And yeah, the guy basically.
Oh, I'm sorry. The dolphins are in America, Scott. They should be speaking American.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was kind of crazy because the problem is that they should have had just the female dolphins with the study, because the male dolphins, they got a little bit too rambunctious.
That's one way to put it.
Yep. They're crazy. The
Yeah.
male dolphins are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they pass around pufferfish to get high off of.
Yes. And if they meet any of their pups that they know that they're not related to them, they get rid of them. It's the same thing with grizzly bears too. If they see cubs, heck, even their own cubs.
Yeah.
It's like
it's competition.
It's competition, superiority, you know, and that's why, you know, in the animal kingdom, inbreeding is such a huge issue with some of those mega predators and apex
that's why
predators.
the lions, the men get kicked out when they get older. Same thing with horses, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The men have it definitely pretty bad in terms of lions if you're not at your peak, because there's always somebody to challenge you, and if you cannot sustain the pride with all the female lions, they kick you out too. Yeah. It's insane. But regardless of nature.
What about the nurture?
What about the nurture? No. That is definitely not something too much in the animal kingdom. But there is nurturing to a certain degree until the babies get old enough, and then the parents are just like, never heard of you. You're kind of on your own after that. But yeah, we're getting pretty close towards the end. Did you want to talk a little bit more about our summer camps for the kiddos?
Yeah, so we got our summer camps coming right up. Scott, what slots do we still have in our
We
summer
still
camps?
have spots in our documentary camp. It's definitely harder to sell because it's more education forward based.
Yeah,
but
it's a great camp.
It's such a great camp, and we promoted it last week with Kate Davis. And then we got horror camp. So horror camp is for kids, 14 and over. Some prereqs from our other previous camps. Some kids who are a little bit younger can get in on there just because we've had them in our movie camps before in the past.
We know them and we think they're ready.
Yeah, they're ready. And it's definitely a good mix of that. And so it's a great resource for kids making movies, video making, and, just honestly play and pretend with cameras.
Yeah.
Engage in the creativity. And that's a big part of what MCAT's all about is
Absolutely.
trying to get people to get engaged with creating media, all that kind of stuff. Because MCAT, regardless of whether you make it in-house or outside, MCAT acts as a television publisher for your content. So if you already are a YouTuber and you want to submit your program to MCAT without having to borrow equipment, editing equipment, you can submit
It's on TV.
It's right on TV, and it's a great publisher house for a lot of people.
Hey guys, TV's retro now, and you know what? Retro things are cool.
Yep.
So.
And so, I'm definitely putting a bug in our board's ear. So something to look out for in the future is that we are definitely planning to look. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it because.
Yeah, I'm going to say it right now.
But I definitely stole the idea from used book sale. So the idea.
And also the used CD sale.
Used record sale.
Yeah.
This time, we're going to be looking into doing a used movie sale to help promote MCAT. And hopefully, we're going to try to do that day by mid to late November. So we're going to start promoting that sometime in August to see if anybody wants to donate the old movies from Blu-ray, DVD, and even, yes, VHS. So that'll be happening at some point in the future. We'll let you know when it actually comes to play. But right now we're just kind of talking about it. So we'll meet with the board, get everything all organized, and hopefully get it greenlit to move forward. So it's something I definitely want to happen, but I'm speaking it into existence right now in a way. It's kind of like you got to visualize. You got to visualize it. Ouch. Yeah, but there's a lot of things happening through MCAT. We got our summer programs happening. May, pretty much going to be the chill month. June, everything's going to go crazy from your movie to my trip and everything.
It is, it's going to be a busy June.
It's going to be a huge June for sure. I've never had a June that was this busy.
Yeah, me neither.
And it hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah.
It's just mid-May. It's May 11th right now. Yeah, it's crazy. Like exactly like a month away from your shoot dates.
Yep. I am feeling a little nervous, but it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first feature I've directed.
Yeah.
I've directed short films.
Yeah.
I've edited short films. I've worked on features, but I've never directed a feature.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But you're going to have a lot of support.
Yeah. We've got a great team.
Yep.
Great crew.
Yep.
And it's going to be great.
Yep. All the actors are handsome, beautiful people.
Yes.
Very attractive that you just look at them and you're just like, I can't listen to them because they're so beautiful.
What's this movie about?
Exactly.
I was too busy looking into their eyes.
So you're going to see a lot of that? Real Montana 12s.
Yeah, but, you know, this movie's going to be very personal for me. It takes place in the house I grew up in.
Yeah, based on a true story. No, it's a horror film. It's going to be fun.
No, my horror film that's based on a true story will be the one about the tornado.
Oh, yes, that would be great. Probably the second worst tornado in history, because the first worst, like the worst came a little bit later.
Yeah. But that's a story for another day. It is 12:59 right now. We're at the end of our show, MCAT Radio on 101.5 KFGM. For MCAT Radio, I'm Neil.
And I'm Scott.
Thanks for listening.